this person. His name is Gary V. Hindi Gary Valenciano ha. Si Gary V is Gary Vaynerchuk. He's like the spokesman of the now generation. And what I mean by the now generation, he's like your oracle. He's like your matrix. No, you ask him for guidance when it comes to the digital economy, and a lot of people do. I don't exactly know what he does. He's a media person, very successful. But what you're actually getting from Gary V is the wisdom. You know, he thinks what he says is pretty much spot on what's gonna happen 5 or 10 years down the road. Okay. So here's what I'm gonna do. We're gonna be listening to the podcast. It's not in its whole entirety, but at least bit by bit. And then I'm going to give my takeaway.
Like, I think one of the things that people struggle with is actually being very real with themselves. What do you mean? The difference between the difference between understanding who you are versus who you wish you were. And I think that's something that I'm always very fascinated by when I have a meeting like this. Like, what kind of read do you have on yourself? And how, I think I would struggle a lot if I didn't really genuinely know who I was. And then once you know who you are, you get more comfortable with what you're up to.
The result of not knowing yourself is misery. And you can't fake misery. Pare, you can't fake, going to the pantry every day, talk about the politics in your office and say that, I really want to leave this place. You can't fake a paycheck to paycheck existence. That's really meager, that you only, it'll barely help you make your ends meet. Or for that matter, you can't fake a business that's failing. You can't also fake, you trying to struggle on a day-to-day basis and trying to find out exactly what you need or who you need to be in order for you to earn that next freelance money. So again, that's the thing. It's important for you to be real first.
And it's crazy. Like, you have to understand, in my body right now, it doesn't feel great. It feels a lot better going somewhere else. The problem is, it's the truth. Like, the market just doesn't care. And what's cool is when you actually say, fuck it, then you start betting on your strengths. Do you know I was a businessman in a world where going to smart colleges was the only thing that mattered for businessmen? You were only a good businessman if you went to Harvard Business School. And then I reversed it. I'm a DNF student. Like I curse, I don't dress the part. I do me, and then you know what happened? The world came to me. And so I would tell you that the best thing that you're gonna walk out of here with is something that took me a long time to really realize, is if you wanna pull this off and you want people listening to you, there's only one thing, the truth.
Just more of your authentic voice.
Everybody says that fucking cliche term.
Just be yourself and all that shit.
It's unbelievable how much that's the reason I'm winning.
You have to really know what your superpowers are, or what's the real you, so that when you go out there, it's what you're playing for. Meaning you're playing on your strengths. You become really so good at what you do, and then you stand out.
Yeah.
People aren't starting.
People aren't starting.
They're just not making. They're thinking, they're pondering, they're strategizing, they're debating.
I mean, all these things out there, you being yourself. One day, makakatisod ka and somebody sees it and they really need that. Don't you think they want you to be part of their team? Whether it's for a project, whether it's for employment, whether it's for consulting, people will definitely want to put you in their team.
And I might have not been patient enough to first build a business, first get experience. I didn't start talking to the world till I was 35. And I love to say to you, be patient, to you to be patient. I'm not sure if I would have been. I'd like to think I would have been, but the freedom of I love to hear myself talk.
Okay.
And I think anybody that is think about, so do you, and so do so many of you. That's what it is, and it's nice. There's nothing wrong with that. It sounds bad. It's funny. A lot of what I deal with now is being okay with not being politically correct, work-life balance, cursing, whatever.
So, ano naman yung advantage of knowing yourself? Ako simple lang eh. Kasi if you don't know yourself, you tend to be wishy-washy. And wishy-washy is you're so unsure of what you're doing that you actually jump at every shiny object, or for that matter, any other opportunity that you see. So when you're that, you don't actually get to achieve anything. Kasi nga, you just jump from one place to the other. Wala kang kasiguraduhan kung sino ka eh. No, unlike those who are sure.
I mean, like, you just gotta, listen, this is back to, do you know yourself? Or do you aspire to be something you might actually not be? This is the toughest question of it all, my man. I mean, if you wanna be respected and really known,
Show up.
show the fuck up. Are you fucking kidding me with going a week without doing something? I don't know how much into my content you are, but I always say, nobody you've ever met got there without the hard work. Nobody you know.
How do you find it? For some, it takes a long process to do so. And for some, because it's so much of a long process, they give up. But please don't, because I know you're better than that. And not only that, you have so much to give. And people say, talaga ba, George? It's my strengths. So similarly, tayo lahat, you have what it takes to actually help people. Hindi mo pa lang siguro na-discover. And there's a process, there's a faster way to do it, I assure you. Ako, it took me nga longer pa. It took me about 2 years. But I pretty much used the tools to my advantage and somehow learned some of the newer tools along the way as well. So that's what I think what Gary's saying about, not trying to fake it. Don't fake it, pare. Because when you fake it wishy-washy, you wouldn't want that to happen to you.